describes how you are in search of a dream and you are putting on your best face, you're smiling through, you're finding ways to live it out, you're finding ways to show joy on your face and everything, but then it is an elusive dream, something that you're just running after, you're not really able to achieve.
It's like a mirage, basically. You just keep running after it, and how hard can you work, and where does that end?
Hey guys, this is Benny.
And this is Dhruv. And today we are going to review a song. It's called Nigerian Dream. And it came out in 2020. Yeah, and it's by an artist called Efe Oraka. So this is exciting. What an amazing angelic voice, first of all. My goodness.
First of all, yeah, true.
It gave me goosebumps actually listening to her. She was amazing.
She was.
One of her lyrics was that the dad is gone, right? Like, it's basically, I think, living the Nigerian dream is like, she also talked about Lagos. So I think there's just like how Mumbai is, like a lot of people from smaller towns, villages, cities come to Mumbai to have these opportunities, job opportunities. And that means there are kids whose fathers are gone. You know, they're gone to these big cities to send money, to earn money. That's my interpretation. I could be wrong, but that's what I understood, that the fathers are gone and the kids are sad, everybody's stressed, people are still in poverty. There are issues with the administration, you know, they don't feel like they're well taken care of, and there is a economic divide. And she said it's hypocritical of us because and it's satirical, living the Nigerian dream, because this is the Nigerian dream where no matter how hard you work and you going into big city to earn money, families are kind of torn apart that way. Fathers are not present, children are sad, and yet we keep smiles on our faces all the time to show that we are living the dream, but it's inside we are cold and sad. I think that's the hypocrisy. I mean, not really I wouldn't call it hypocrisy, but it's survival. It's your survival tactic, and which is why I also understand like why comedy movies are so big in Nigeria, is because when your day to day is so stressful and is so tough, that is your only escape. Like, you don't want to watch like serious movies. You don't, it's, life is hard as it is.
If you are poor, it's always found that you have to sometimes migrate with your whole family in search of job opportunities, or otherwise the father has to move off because they can't afford to have the whole family moving together. That makes kind of a broken family. It is a broken family in a way where the head of the family, the father, isn't present, and that leads to a lot of issues. I mean, it's incomplete. You know, the family in that way is incomplete. No matter the father might be visiting once in a while or whatever, no matter how strong the bonds may be, but it's a lonely struggle for both of the parents and the children. They too feel that lack of having the affection and the love of the parents. It is quite satirical. I mean, as you say, it describes how you are in search of a dream and you're putting on your best face, you're smiling through, you're finding ways to live it out, you're finding ways to show joy on your face and everything, but then it is an elusive dream, something that you're just running after, you're not really able to achieve.
It's like a mirage, basically. You just keep running after it, and how hard can you work, and where does that end? And also thinking about, as you mentioned about children, like thinking of a whole generation of children growing up with most of them not having their fathers present, imagine the psychological impact of that. A child needs both parents, right? And to not have one has immense psychological impact that many people don't understand. So a whole generation of children in Nigeria growing up without a father figure, it's messy. They're searching for a father figure and they can end up in the wrong hands. You know, they can end up with people because when there is a void, whether it's a mother, father, boyfriend, whatever void you're trying to fill, you end up in making bad decisions, and some of them would end up in bad situations in that search to fill that void.
Well, yeah, trying to fill that void, if you're searching for a father figure in a person who is a stranger, you would definitely end up being used in some way or the other, whether it is psychological or anything. I mean, there's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. I don't say there's no kindness. I don't say people are not giving, but then your father is your father, your mother is your mother, and nobody can fill their place. So yes, it has a deep psychological effect on the child, and it's not simply that the child wishes to have the affection of both parents. Children also realize when one parent misses the other, while one parent is struggling alone, and no matter how young a child, the child is able to, recognize that feeling of pain and loneliness and frustration in the one parent that they are with. It is human beings are quite sensitive like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, we also don't know whether that one parent that's there is also gone out for work. So maybe the child is by himself. I mean, there are all these different permutation combinations of what the effect can be when a father is not present. I'm sure both parents have to work to make ends meet. And so that means the child is by themselves, and that's probably even worse. And then when there is poverty, there it could lead to parents being harsh to their children because they are just frustrated. They're in their own heads. I mean, they're not like, oh, you after a horrible day you come back home and your child also is needy, and then it's not that loving relationship. It's a vicious cycle of things when you take one thing out, and it just becomes a very vicious cycle. Yeah.
Another thing is that when the parent sees struggle day in and day out, the parent feels that it's his duty to, make the child ready for that kind of struggle in life. And so the parent tries to not show the affection and love and all that. Instead, he would feel that I need to, prepare him for life by being tough with my kid. So on the one hand, the kid does not have the parents as much as when you have two parents with you. And then when the parent comes home, he has his own frustrations to deal with at the end of the day. And on top of that, maybe the parents feels that he needs to be tough with the kid because the kid needs to go and face the same world that he is facing. And maybe a worse scenario could be awaiting the child. That's a bad situation.
I remember there was this book I read. This was on a book on a Mexican immigrant, right? It's said from the point of view of the girl, where the girl is left with the grandmother and both her parents have to go to the United States to work. They can't afford to bring her there. And the grandmother has her own favorites. She doesn't even like the girl, so treats some kids better and treats her like crap. Right. And her parents are gone, and then her parents have another child there, and now like that child is loved and they don't really send as much as they did to that girl. Like it organically severs the ties between the girl and the parents. So there's like all these kind of things, and there is it's called The Distance Between Us. That's the book. So take one member out or two members out or whatever. Even if you take one member out from the family structure, it's a mess. And then even coming in terms of the parent of the dad, presumably coming to Lagos to work, it's a struggle still. It's like you're barely making it. And any big city is a struggle. It's ruthless. It's unforgiving. It's ruthless. And even by yourself, it's a painful experience. The kind of people you have to meet who are trying to get you people may not have any mercy for what your situation is because they are in their own heads, and no one has the time to listen to your sorrows as it might have been back in your village or town where people were nicer and warmer. Big cities are cutthroat and ruthless, and it's not an easy thing. And once you go there, once you struggle there, if you are already in a privileged situation, it's another thing. But once you struggle in a big city, you're never going to be the same person that left to go there.
That's true. In places where there's poverty, you don't get enough of what you want, and you're hungry half of the time. There's not enough to wear, there's not enough to eat, and then you get frustrated. So either you go into the wrong company, or you just try to get something which is not yours, and in the end you end up being with the wrong people in the wrong situations, and then all that the parents went through in order to provide a good future for their children, it many a times it goes to waste. They do this so that their children have a better future, but the present of the children is not taken care of in this process, and they go awry.
That reminds me of Chandni Bar, actually, all that you
Yes,
said.
I couldn't. Sorry. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's oh my God, it's an amazing movie, but it's also a heartbreaking movie and a very realistic movie of what happens. So she's a bar dancer and prostitute, and her husband is a gangster, and she has a girl and a boy, and she tries her best to make sure that they don't go into the same paths that she's going in and her husband are in. But it ends up being very bad, you know, and that's the reality of much of the situation. It's that Maslow's diagram, right? Like for survival, if you get things right, then you have the time to think about affection and love and what I want to do with life. Those are privileged problems, but these are real problems where even survival is a problem, and is such a huge struggle. Basic needs are not met, and that's very sad.
True.
But I'm also going to say that the singer, right, she not only sang amazingly, but you could feel the feels, like you could see the pain in her. It didn't feel like it was a performance, and maybe it wasn't, because I feel like maybe she really was feeling all of that. I don't know what her background is. We will have to read on that, but there are feelings she tapped into. That's my feeling looking at the video, that she really felt every ounce of the words that she was singing, and there was so much pain in her voice, and it was so beautiful. Her voice was angelic, really. All right, guys, so if you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel, and if you liked it, please actually go ahead and like it. Also hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. We usually do that on Mondays. And let us know how we're doing, or if there's any other feedback or any other reaction or discussion you want us to do. Until next time, फिर मिलेंगे.
फिर मिलेंगे.